whoop, this way. Some custom grips, control freak grips, and then we got a new Galaxy control freak. Let me tell you, stream, I feel like a new man with this new controller. I feel so light. Hey. Anybody else? Guys. What's going on, everyone? Nick or Catalyst here. Welcome back to the channel. I hope you all are doing well. First and foremost, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for the support and the comments on the best weapons of 6.2 video. That video is obviously doing extremely well, so thank you. I'm glad you're enjoying it. Today we are going to have a little bit of a shorter video because I was called into work and didn't have time to start the longer video that I've been wanting to work on, but that's okay. I'm sure that a lot of you are going to find a lot of worth from this video anyways. As you can tell by the title of the video, today we are going to be talking about recoil in Battlefield 5, and more importantly, we are going to be talking about ways that you can improve your recoil control and improve your aim while you are playing the game. And I think that it's a good time to be making this video because I've received quite a few comments from you all telling me that since we've returned to the faster time to kill, you have had trouble controlling the enhanced recoil, and also, as you all saw in the intro, I've received a lot of accusations that I'm cheating over the past few months, which isn't too atypical when one of my videos does well and new people come to the channel, but I thought it would be a funny intro to the video about recoil. Now, this is the part where I could give you the whole sales pitch and tell you that you too can have aim like me, and you might be able to, but the fact of the matter is that it's taken me years to perfect my aim, and it's not something that is going to happen overnight, but I can give you the basics to set that progress in motion, and that's what we'll be doing today. So like and subscribe if you are new here and find any of this useful. Let's get into it. So before we go to the practice range, I'm going to let the gameplay run in the background and explain a little bit about how recoil works in Battlefield 5, because it's not only a little confusing, but it is also entirely different than any Battlefield game that came before it. Battlefield 5 is a bit of a mixed bag as to how and when it delivers recoil to the player. The main mechanics implement both random recoil configurations as well as a predetermined fixed recoil pattern. That is, of course, when you ADS, and like most first-person shooters, Battlefield 5 implements varying degrees of weapon bloom when you are hip firing. Now, most of you probably knew that Battlefield 5 integrated random recoil patterns, but what does that mean for your aim in a gunfight, and how can you learn to control it so well? It mainly has to do with a mechanic called spread to recoil conversion. Spread to recoil conversion is defined as the following. For fully automatic weapons in ADS, whether zoomed or zoomed with the bipod for MMGs, spread is translated into recoil for all shots following the first shot if the input to fire is sustained, which basically means if you're holding down the trigger. While a shot is being fired, the position of the spread roll of the following shot within the spread cone is calculated, and the weapon's point of aim will move towards that calculated position. Traditionally calculated vertical and horizontal recoil is applied on top of this. So, if you've ever wondered why sometimes your recoil will completely fly off the handles and go all over the place after your third or fourth shot, this is why. So how do you train your muscle memory to deal with this, and how do you develop such strong aim if recoil is randomized to preset values nearly every single time? Keeping in mind that there are differences in recoil between PC and console, you train for random recoil in Battlefield 5 just as if it did not exist, and you were training/learning your weapon-specific recoil patterns, because despite there being random recoil, there is still a predetermined recoil pattern that your weapon is going to have every time. It's just that the random recoil alters that recoil pattern in varying degrees every time you fire. So you train yourself to memorize that programmed pattern and then adjust in real time when your aim gets thrown off by the random recoil values. The best players are going to memorize every single weapon's predetermined pattern down to a point where they can easily correct their aim when they feel that random recoil is setting in. So hopefully that explains a little bit as to how recoil works in the game and how you should attack learning to better control your recoil. Most people try and react to the recoil as it comes to you. You should instead be proactive in attacking the recoil before you lose control of it. Now, there are some things that you can do outside of the game to improve your aim, in really any first-person shooter game for that matter, and I debated about whether or not I should include this in the script for today's video, but at the end of the day, it does make a difference, so I thought that I should at least put a quick note about it in the script. If you are really serious about improving your aim, I would highly suggest that you purchase a pair of control freaks. This is not a sponsored video in any shape or form, although I really wouldn't mind a sponsorship with control freaks. In all seriousness, I cannot tell you how much of a difference these little things make, and they are only $15 a package, so they're very cheap. Here is a picture of my controller on screen for reference. Your PlayStation and Xbox thumbsticks, if you are playing on console, are naturally clunky and awkward, and it's really difficult for you to have pinpoint aiming with the default sticks. I was always hesitant to get them beforehand as well, because I thought that the effect that the Control Freaks had on gameplay might be a placebo effect, but truthfully they do help, so I would recommend them, and I'm sure if you ask in the comment section below for other opinions, there are plenty of people that can give you a testimony as well. It's also important to note that the type of television you play on will actually affect how well you aim. Naturally, televisions aren't meant for gaming, so they all contain more input lag, and the wider your TV is, the more input lag you have. And input lag is the delay between an electrical input from the point of stimulation to action. For example, pressing a button and seeing the event unfold on your screen. So keep that in mind. If you are gaming on a widescreen 4K 55-inch TV, you will have a much longer delay time from the moment you move your sticks on screen to when it happens in-game. And sometimes that will cause you to not only be slower, but inaccurate as well. It sucks to say all of this, and I wish it wasn't this way, because I'm sure that Battlefield looks beautiful on that Ultra 4K 55-inch television, but this is a type of pay-to-play better advantage that isn't often talked about in gaming, especially when it comes to instructional videos like this one. The reality is that the best players in the game usually also have the best monitor, the best headset, the best controller. It doesn't mean that their skill at the game is invalid, but there is no question in my mind that all of these things help. That's just kind of how the cookie crumbles. Now that that's out of the way, let's go to the practice range where we're going to discuss things that you can do to improve your aim and your gun skill. Now the first thing that I want to talk to you about is settings related. I have raised my field of view, and I normally play with ADS field of view on and uniform soldier aiming on, and those three settings alone make it to where it seems like my aim is much smoother and I have less recoil than I actually do. And even though I don't have any less recoil than anybody else does, visually because of those settings it gives me the perception that I have less recoil, and therefore I don't try as hard and overcorrect my aim. I would highly suggest for you all to go and watch my settings guide if you haven't done so already. I'm not going to dwell too much on my settings in this video because of that. There is a lot of great information, and there are additional settings that you can tweak and make your aim that much better. So you can click the link appearing at the top right hand corner of your screen now, go and watch that, and then come back to the video if you haven't done so already. The link to my settings guide is also always in my description if you need a fast way to find it. So, how do you improve your aim? Well, what's the secret? The secret to improving your aim is practice. And I know that's not what a lot of you wanted to hear, and that's probably not the payoff that you were expecting from this video, but there is no revolutionary tip that I can give you that I haven't already covered in this video that will make you have laser aim straight out of the gate. But there are some practice drills that I can give you that I've been doing for over a year that might help you. The main drill is called the snap aim drill, and this was something that I originally found watching Bearnox on Twitch, who is a very talented PC player, and I used to do this drill myself quite a lot before streams as a warm-up, but it is quite honestly one of the best ways to learn how to handle multiple players in a gunfight, as well as to overall train your aim so that you can transition between targets effectively. And this is something that you can do right here in the practice range. So what you'll do is you'll go to the open range section of the practice range, and you will go to this section here. Now there is a bug that only allows you to use one class's weapons. Sometimes it's the support class, sometimes it's the medic class. I'm not sure why this is the way that it is, but it's there. It's Battlefield 5, things are buggy, guys. But no matter what, go to the section, go to a weapon swap station, and change your weapon to a high mag capacity weapon, as high as you can go if the practice range glitches out on you like it did to me making this video. You're going to want to line yourself up in this spot and look in this direction. Now, what you're going to be doing here is holding down the trigger and snapping between 4 different targets. The tire of the truck on your left, the barrels to your left, the truck tire directly in front of you, and the light pole on the right side of your screen. And you'll want to at first go in a specific order, going from all the targets on the left to all the targets on the right. And then once you do a few repetitions of that, you can randomize the order and keep going from there. Now the trick is that you are training your muscle memory to recognize distances and how far you need to either move your thumbstick or move your mouse in order to reach that target. And this is definitely something that is easier to do on PC. If you're on console, please don't get discouraged if this is hard at first. Doing this on console is extremely difficult, and even high can have trouble aiming as well, because sometimes you miss, and as you can see in this clip, I overshoot my target from last week's video, and sometimes I can hit the target pretty spot on, like in this clip here. If that's a little bit too much for you at this point in time, then I completely understand. I suggest doing the drill that is right next to you where you can work on your hip fire instead. What you'll want to do is center your weapon's crosshair at the center of the smiley face every time and snap to the little button. I guess that's more of a mine. Snap to the little mine when it appears. Now sometimes it's a little difficult to see these small mines, but you should try to make a streak of 50 consecutive hits and keep trying to improve from there, keeping in mind to get more ammo and reload, because sometimes you will run out and it will ruin the streak. Now, it's one thing to do all of this in the practice range, and it's another to do it in a live match. I know this. So in that case, I would recommend that after you practice in the practice range, you go into the combined arms co-op mode and practice on the NPCs. This is the closest as you can get to practicing without playing and suffering in a live game environment, and it's a good way to test your muscle memory, which again, the goal of all of this is to train your hand-eye coordination and your muscle memory in order to not only control recoil better, but also be able to snap between targets quickly when the situations call for it. That's the end of the video, ladies and gentlemen. Quick one, I know, but Battlefield is a bit scarce for content at the moment, so until then, there will be more videos like this one. I will be live this afternoon continuing our new variety stream Sunday streams, and if you don't know what those are, on Sundays I take a day off from playing Battlefield and live stream other games of my choosing. It could be anything from Call of Duty to The Last of Us to The Witcher 3 to Assassin's Creed, and right now we're playing Uncharted 3, one of my favorite games of all time. It's a good way to hang out with myself and the rest of the Cat Pack, get to know us and the rest of the community outside of the setting of Battlefield. So I'll be live at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time this afternoon here on YouTube. I hope to see some of you there. With that being said, like the video and subscribe if you enjoyed and found something useful. Turn on post notifications if you haven't already. Follow me on Twitch and Twitter and join my Discord. Thank you all so much for watching. My name is Nick or Catalyst, and I will see you all another time.